Hey everybody, welcome to the Thompson Model Shop, and today we are going to be bringing you issue 4 of Build the Ghostbusters Ecto-1, that iconic car from the movie Ghostbusters in 1987. This magazine today and this video will be covering stages 7, 8, 9, and 10. Hopefully, with all the pictures and views that I've seen from inside this magazine, we'll be able to build up the rest of that engine, and hopefully we'll be able to get the next issue in and continue building. Without further ado, let's take a look at all the things that we're going to be doing in this video. Alright, here's stages 7 and 8. As you can see here, more engine compartments, and they have everything laid out here. Alright, we're going to be working on the timing belt cover, the timing belt cover connector, the cooling system, the oil pump, the engine block top, distributor assembly, engine block cover, pipe joint, intake manifold, breather cap. Then we're going to do the right engine block support, right exhaust manifold, and the fuel pump lower. And that is all on stage 7. On stage 8, we're going to do more. We're going to put the right cylinder head in, the ignition wire junction, the right cylinder head cover, the fuel pump cover, fuel pump bracket, fuel filter cap, ignition coil plug, ignition coil cap, so on and so forth. We're even going to be putting in a spark plug. I mean, that is going to be crazy. We have 8 spark plugs to put in with this piece. That's amazing. All right, so we're going to be putting all that in. Okay, we're even going to put in another dipstick. We're going to put the starter motor, the drive pinion, the starter solenoid, the coil wire, and it's saying that it's going to come with some tweezers. Wow. Okay, I can't wait to look at this package and share it with you guys of what the package is going to look like, but we'll cover that when we get to that stage here in this video. Also, we're going to be covering stages 9 and 10. These are stages 9 and 10 right here. This here obviously is going to be your fast idle cam bracket and support, fuel inlet, the choke cap, carburetor, air filter side, filter inlet, air filter cover and screw, and a fuel pipe, and then a bunch of some screws and whatnot. Then also here on stage 10, our final stage for this video, which is going to be the generator bracket, the generator front bracket. We're also going to do generator end, generator body, the inner, the plug, the pulley inner, the pulley outer, the rear bracket. Then we got the water pump housing, oil filter head and base. And then of course, you know, we have all of our other little BP, DP, EP, GP, FM screws, you know, all that good jazz. So I can tell you right now, we are going to be having a lot of fun with this. It's going to have a lot of stuff to do. I would like to keep my videos down to 30 minutes. That seems to be a little tough right now, but we're going to try to edit everything and get everything shown to you as fast and as quickly as possible. Also, I mean, this is just going to be great, and I can see that building this car is just going to keep getting more and more interesting and a lot more fun to do. And of course, if you'd like to, you can always go to fanhome.com and start building your own Ecto-1. Fanhome has been a great site so far with me. I've had no issues getting any parts, no issues if I'm missing something. They've been willing to give it and send it to me. So that's a real good relief. When I started this model with Eagle Moss, it was a hassle. So being a part with Fanhome, I'm pretty excited about it. So without further ado, I think it's time. We better get over to the bench and start cracking on this wonderful project today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are today with stage 7, and we're back here on the bench. So as you can see, we're going to be focusing on the engine compartment, and these are some of the parts that we have here for the engine compartment. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all this out. All right, this is a bit of a pain, so I usually edit this out. but for this video, I think I'm just going to show you kind of like a little quick behind the scenes within the video. Alright, so take all these parts out, and it seems to fit nice and neat in there. Now, of course, you want to keep everything as much as you can inside, so that way you don't have to worry about anything. And the good part is, since all these little divots are in here, you know when you're missing the part, so that's kind of cool. But as you can see, look at all these nice big parts. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to start putting all this stuff together. Okay, so the first stage, obviously, and I'm going to put this to the side, so that way I can put everything together. I brought the engine block back from the previous stuff that we've done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out all the pieces here for section 1. And so far so good. Alright, we're going to need this piece, we're going to need this piece, we're going to need this piece, and it looks like a few other pieces. Oh, we're also going to need, oh, yeah, so we don't need this piece just yet, so we'll leave that there. Looks like 1, 2, 3, so 1, and we're picking out the 07C, attaching it to this, and then that will get attached to the engine. Alright, so we're going to bring back trusty screwdriver. You probably have seen this if you were watching the Build the Enterprise D, or the Enterprise 1701D playlist that I have. This screwdriver, it's phenomenal. I love this thing compared with the other ones that I do have. So what it is it's saying here, okay, that I need to take some EM screws to put these two pieces together. So I'm going to open this up and get 2 EM screws, and basically I'm going to put these two together, and I'll be right back. Alright, so we're back here on the bench. Alright, so what I did is I kind of fast forwarded real quick by just doing this behind the scenes. I put the pieces together, I screwed it in right over here. I used the DM screw here, I had to use the AP screws on the inside, and then I had some EM screws to put the two pieces down here together. So as you can see here, this is all the stages that I did. So how outstanding is that? Alright, I think it came out really good. It's really flush, right onto it. I mean, that's nice. It doesn't wiggle, it doesn't wobble. Everything fits nice and tight, nice and snug. So I'm very impressed with that. Okay, so I'll put this down here to the side, because now we're going to move along, and I'm going to leave this here in the foreground up here on the top, so you guys can see all the stages that I'm going to do here for phase 2. And this is all phase 2 right here. So what I'm going to do is I'll just let you see what I'm doing right up here. You can always pause this and like follow from here, but I mean, if you're at home and you're building this, obviously you're going to have your own book and you can put it together and get it done much faster than this video probably. But for now, I'm being very meticulous, I'm being very watchful of what I'm doing. So and I don't want to bore you folks at home with watching me, you know, put in all the screws. But if you do enjoy that and you want to see that kind of content, you know, go ahead, leave it in the comment box. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all the pieces here so you can kind of see which pieces I'm grabbing. Alright, so I'm going to need obviously this piece, then I'm going to need this piece, okay, and then I'm going to need this piece, and it looks like I'm going to need one more, which should be, I don't think this is it. I think it's this. Oh, it's upside down, that's why. Okay, so we're going to leave that part alone, and we're going to also need what looks like a machine gun looking thing, so we're going to need this too. This is probably going to be where all the hoses are going to come out of, so that's going to be a real hoot to put on. But for now, these are all the pieces that it's asking for, including this tiny little piece. I mean, look how that's kind of tiny. That's pretty tiny, you know. So that's pretty tiny. All right, so we're gonna just put that right there. The screws that I'm going to be using, just so you guys know ahead of time, it looks like I'm going to be using AP screws and BP screws. So that'll be interesting. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to go and build all this stuff together, and then I'll come back and show you the end product. That way you guys can see that. All right. Everybody loves to see the end product more than watching me put it together. So I'm going to get off of here real quick, and we'll come back to the bench once I'm all done. Alright, so we're back again at the shop here in the bench, and here's everything put together from phase 2. Yep, it was interesting, it was fun. Alright, we put everything in there. This looks pretty nice. Alright, so now all we have to do now is we're going to move on, and we're going to go to stage 3 and 4. Okay, so to speed this up, I'm gonna do stages 3, 4, and 5, which then will get me down here to stage 7, where everything is gonna be pretty much connected, and then we're gonna have a couple spare parts left over, and that should leak us right into basically stage 8. So without further ado, I'm going to go and put everything together, not put everything back together, but I'm going to put everything together for 3, 4, and 5, so that way we can see the stage 7 build complete. I'll be right back. Alright everybody, here it is. Everything is done. Everything's put together. We've got down to this part here. So basically it was pretty simple, easy stuff to do. Put it all together. Here's the other side. We've got the big gaping hole in there, and that's going to be for hopefully other parts that we're going to have. But without further ado, I think we should go get and start working on the next stage. Alright, let's go on to stage 8. Alright folks, we're back here on the bench. Here it is, stage 8. Alright, we're still working on the engine compartments. Now we're going to be putting the cylinder head together. In this stage, we're going to be putting the cylinder head and the engine block together. Then we're going to put the fuel pump and the filter together, and then fitting the fuel pump and the filter onto the engine block itself. And then we're going to come all the way down and get through all these stages here by putting all the spark plug connectors in, apparently, it looks like. Yeah, inserting the spark and distributor cap plugs, and then we'll be down here on this phase right here. We'll have everything pretty much all done for stage 8. Alright, so without further ado, I'm just going to show you, these are all the parts for stage 8. They come in a nice little container again, and this seems to be the theme throughout all the I guess, I don't know, lack of a better term, but all the future packages are going to come in this way, so that way you can tell whether you're missing a piece or not. I mean, if not, you can still go at the beginning of the book and count everything, but that's if you want. We also have all of our screws and everything. Some of them came out, so we still have some screws left over from the other phases, and then you have these ones, which are mainly your spark plug caps and such. But without further ado, what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to do assembly 1. I'm going to put it all back together, and then I'm going to come back to you guys once it's all done and you can see the finished product. Okay, if you have your book at home and you're building this model yourself, and you've been on fanhome.com and ordered it, and you got to this stage, okay, that's awesome, great, I appreciate that, because now you'll be able to build your own model, and you can go along with this video, or you could just be at home and build it on your own. It's totally up to you. However, for today's video, this is what we're going to do. We're going to focus on stage 1 here of this stage, and then after that I'll come back and show you the finished product. Alright. right, so here it is. It's all done. All of step 1 here of stage 8. Everything's all put together. I put in all the screws. I put in all the pieces. I basically only used 4 BP screws and 3 AP screws inside there. So that was pretty fun. That was good. All right, so what I'm going to do is I have to put this aside, but for stage 2, I'm going to let you guys watch in on this one because that's where this piece comes into play. So basically what they're showing is that we're going to take this piece, we're going to hold it, I believe, according to this, it says you got to hold it like this. All right, and then we're going to attach the piece. So apparently it attaches just like so. All right, and then we're going to be using 2 AP screws. So I'm going to grab 2 AP screws real quick and put 2 more back in there. All right, this is kind of cool because we're attaching it back to the other half of this engine block, so I figured you'd probably want to watch this part. As you can see, it's kind of difficult to do sometimes. We'll give you a little heads up again that if you hear a dog barking, it is mainly my dog, one of them, trying to grab attention, which is kind of annoying. But we leave the door open so the dog can go in and out. So it's probably barking at the other dog itself because it doesn't want to play or something, but it'll be fine. Alrighty. Okay, so now that is all screwed in nice and snug, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to step 2. All right, I'm going to leave this off to the side. On step 2, it kind of shows right here that we're going to be putting the fuel pump and filter together, and then later on we're going to take that fuel pump and filter and put it onto the engine block. So what I'll do is I'll put all this together, and then I will come back and we will install the fuel pump and the filter to this half of the engine. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go get that done and be right back. Alright, so here we are. I installed stage 3 onto pretty much step 4, I guess. I'm not gonna call it stages, we're on stage 8. So on step 4 here, basically saying that once you finish this, you're going to put this on. So I had a little bit of an issue, so I put this on, and then now we can put on the cap. So the cap kind of just goes lining up. It's got a little thing there so you know which way to put it on, so that's really cool. So I'm just going to show you how difficult and finicky this is, really. I mean, it clicks into place, and that's all great and dandy. And then I have the BP screw already set up, so we're going to throw that right inside, okay? And then we're just going to screw that on down. All right, and as you can see, the cap starts moving around a bit. That's why I started videoing it, because I thought you'd want to see all that it's going to be a bit of a hassle. All right. So yeah, it's still moving on me. It's kind of a pain, but that's okay. We're just gonna keep adjusting to it. Alright, so now it's in there nice and snug. Alright, snug as a bug. It's not wiggling, it's not moving, nothing's loose. I remember one time when I did this for the Jeep model, and I was telling you, it was driving me up a wall. Like it just would keep moving, it kept jiggling, and then I broke the part, so I had to work a way around it, get some super glue, put it together, and then put it back together, but it never was the same. Alright, so that's it for stage 4. I mean for step 4. stop saying that stage thing. So here we go. So now we're on step 5, and then we have step 6 with all these little things that we have to put in. So when we get to here and whatnot, what I think I'm going to do is just kind of show you how it is to put one in, and then after that I'm going to put the rest in and deal with all that behind the camera. So we're not having you sit here watching me struggle and everything. I don't think that that's fun to watch, but could be as a comedy act. Maybe we'll save it for some kind of behind the scenes footage, but for now I'm going to edit that part out. But I'm going to focus mainly on step 5, and then we'll come back and do step 6 once I'm done with 5. Alright, so here we are. Step 5 is completed. I put it on top there. That's what this is. Okay, so now I tilted it on its side to kind of prep it, because here's step 6. So I'm going to put it into the light so you can see it. But we have some holes here that we're going to be filling with these right here, which are going to be our spark plugs, or spark cap plugs. It just says inserting the spark and distributor cap plugs. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take these and put them in, okay? And it just says that we're going to be putting them in on both sides of the engine. So I haven't installed both sides yet, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to go back and install the other things, but I left it apart so that way I could easily get to it without an issue. Alright, so without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the spark plugs, and then once I put them in, then I'm going to attach this piece to the other side, and then we'll come back once those two are connected. Then I'm going to come back and put inside these, which will be another set, which will be our little cap plugs, I believe. But without further ado, let me get on putting that all together, and I will come back to you here in a second. Alright, so what I'm going to do is a little bit of helping you, tell you how this goes. Is I'm going to put the spark plugs in, these little plugs over here. I use the tweezers because it's a lot easier. Alright, so since it's a lot easier, we're just going to put these in. Okay. I tried doing it with my fingers on the other side with the piece not connected. It's a pain, so I started with the tweezers after that. So, this one. There we go. Boom. Alright, so all 8 of them are in. Outstanding. And now we are done with that part. So I'm going to move on to stage 7. Alright, so there's a little error there. I know how I said in the last one there that we're going to go to stage 7, or step 7. I just realized that we forgot to put in a few pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these few pieces in. I'm going to let you watch because this is going to be really finicky, okay? So there's this silver piece right here that I'm going to pull out, and I'll put it right there on the table. That little tiny silver piece. Apparently that is to go somewhere here, it says. So I'm going to kind of look in the light here. I can see there's a little block. So what I'm going to do is, it doesn't seem to matter which way this piece goes. It doesn't say. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the clean round side facing up, because there's like a little thing there. So I'm going to put this and attach it in. Oh boy, wow. That's pretty tight. Alright, so now it's locked in. It's not going to move. That's cool. Alright, so it wants me to put the little other, I guess it's a dipstick or something. It's probably another one. But we're not going to put that in now because I think that one's going to just get in the way for what we're going to do next. And I want a lot of room. So we're going to work on this piece here with all these pieces over here. Alright, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to do one, maybe two. And then after that, I'm going to put it all together because there's so many of them. Alright, so we got number one. Okay. It seems to go in pretty easy, so maybe we don't have to pause it. Let's see. Let's see how easy this one goes in. Okay. Seems to be going pretty easy. Alright. Okay. So put in another one. Oh. Oh, wow. Thank God I had that transporter pad over there. Made sure that it didn't go anywhere. Alright, so that's pretty cool. Alright, so now that you've seen how I'm putting them in, I'll be right back with the rest. Alright, so we're back. What I wanted to do is just kind of show you how difficult it is. We have this hose here. It's a little blue hose, okay, and this little blue hose has to go through here, okay, and then it kind of just bends a little. Now, obviously in this picture here, it shows that it's a little shorter, but it's not, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is for now, because that's kind of long, okay, but we're just going to leave it that way for now. Obviously there's a kink in there and you can tell. I think it's probably needing to be cut, but we're just gonna leave it the way it is for now. I'll read up on it here in a second and see if we can maybe snip that just a little bit so it fits just right. But other than that, that is it for step 6. And now I'm going to go over to step 7. So let me prep up for step 7 and we'll be right back. Okay, so now that I've set it up, I have 1, 2, 3 pieces and 2 screws. So according to step 7, which is right over here, we're going to be putting a piece here, then adding the second piece here, and then this piece. So I just wanted you to see the area that you're working with real quick, so you can tell that it's kind of a pain to get in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all these pieces together. Once they're together, I'll come back and show you the end product. Alright, welcome back to the bench. So I've moved some lighting around. Hopefully this helps us out. I got some more lights on the way to allow you guys to see a lot more. I don't have lights that go everywhere, so you know, so you get a little bit of images here. But what I'm going to do is I'm just putting these last pieces from step 7 here together. Alright, so I put in there a AP screw, okay, and then up here there's another piece that goes in, and it's a BP screw, which is this piece here. So I'm gonna pop this out and then grab a BP screw. The reason why I'm showing you this is because, well, it's the end of this phase, and then it says here stage, but I'm only gonna say that's because that is the end of stage 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this piece in. Now there's a little piece that sticks out, and then there's a little hole in here. It's kind of small and it's not going to be seen no matter which way I put the light. I've already tested it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my tweezers here, and I'm going to use the tweezers maybe and help me out. Unless it locks in there, then it'll be even better. It doesn't look like it's gonna. So what I'm going to do is get in there with the tweezers and line it up. And there it is, all lined up. Oh, and as you can see, it didn't stay. All right, so that's, where did it go? We don't know. Oh boy, where did it go? Oh, that tiny little piece. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go look for that piece. I'll be right back. I'm gonna put it together myself, and then I'll come back and show you the finished product. All right, so I found the piece and I put it all together, and this is the completed pieces for this adventure for stage 8. All right, everything is done up. As you can see, the engine is roughly about the size of my hand. So as you can see, there it is. All right, so without further ado, I'm gonna go grab all the pieces here for stage 9, and then I will come back to you with stage 9. All right, a little something new here. We're gonna put a little sign up, basically to tell you that we're doing stage 9. A little something different. All right, so here's all the pieces for stage 9, and yet again, I forgot to put this little plastic thing, so I'm just gonna remind you folks at home on how much of a pain in the arse this is. Okay, so of course we don't want all of our pieces missing or getting damaged in transit, but like I said, when I started getting these packages, they pretty much were from E-Gloss. Alright, so I'm assuming that even once we get into all the packages that I'm getting from Fan Home, they'll be the same. Alright, so here's all the pieces, and of course this is everything that we're going to be doing for this stage so far. Just basically steps 1 through 4. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start off with number 4. All right. So I'm going to leave this off to here. Okay. I had to move the lighting because I don't think you guys could see enough, and it was kind of a pain only getting light from one direction that I can't see. So I'm going to put all the parts over here, and this will be our little workbench. Okay, I have all my screws lined up that we're going to need. I also have some more here, so we're going to put those there. And first things first, I'm going to put some pieces out. So what I'm going to do is step 1. Step 1 is all these parts right here. So I'm going to put all those together, and I'm going to show you the finished product. All right, so now step 1 is completed. Everything was put together. And I'm going to say you're going to have a couple of issues. All right, it's going to be a pain to put this piece together. It's kind of somewhat of a pain just to put that together. I had to kind of lay it down and then screw it. And then with this one, I had to kind of just kind of elevate it and line it up just right, just like this, and then screw it in. So then once I did that, then I screwed it all in. Other than that, okay, so with all that being done, all right, stage 2 is really just one piece, and that one piece, it looks like it's going to be this piece. All right, so we're going to take this one piece and we're going to put it in. Now I'm going to kind of show you how much of a pain in the neck this was. Okay, so I'm going to put the screw here and line it right up, and then this goes at the top of this piece. Now of course this piece does have something that the other piece did not, which is like a set piece, which kind of helps you out to kind of guide it in so you can leave it in. So this one might not be as much of a pain. And then you just take this screw and you just screw it right on in. Alright. So, yep, you just screw it in nice and snug. Just until it can't turn no more. You don't want to put it too tight, because if you put it too tight, the next thing you know, you're going to break the plastic. Okay? So once that's done, now they want us to put it on top of the engine. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab ourselves the engine here. Okay, I'm going to bring it on over. And apparently it's going to go right here on the top piece. So the way I see it is there's another piece that goes on before we get to that stage. I'm sorry. I missed a step. Alright, I forgot this other silver piece. Alright, yet again, this one does have a little piece to kind of help you out. Alright, and we're going to need another GP screw. So I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to put that piece in, then we're going to put it onto the engine. As you can see, I'm a kind of a typical dude, I guess. I tend not to read instructions until it's too late. But that's okay. You know, as we get onto this build and we do other things and get more and more on this build, it's kind of like this is just, you know, the first season, you know, in a sense. So, you know, so as we get along and we go along with this build, it's going to take a while to build this thing. So we're going to constantly have, you know, more and more videos coming out to show you how all this is done. There it is. Nice and snug, like a glove. Okay, so now that we've almost forgot that part, okay, the way it shows that it's going to go in, alright, is that this piece, alright, this piece lines up with this. Now there is a guide. There's like a little guide there that kind of tell you where it's going, right? And then on the engine there's the same thing. So we just line those two up and we're going to slide it down. Okay. Now we're not putting any screws there because they already have the silver bolts around this engine piece. So we're just going to make sure that it's snug, okay? It's not going to move or anything, okay? And then there is a hose that's going to go from here to here. Alright, and that is this black wire here. When it comes to hoses, I want to leave that till the last part. So we're gonna try to put that together now, only because the piece that goes on top, as you can see, is gonna be obviously the air filter. So we're not gonna have time to get the tweezers in there and do everything. So we're gonna see how everything goes here. If we have to, we will shrink the cord down, kind of like the other one that we did over here. I'm not a big fan of that, but it just kind of makes everything look clean and cut, you know, like it's meant to be there. Alright, so in the meantime, I'm going to put this piece right up into it, nice and snug. And then I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to attach this side. And we're lucky, folks, it didn't bend or anything, so that's good. It didn't crinkle or anything. If it did, I would have shortened it. Alright, so that's great news. Alright, so we got some spare screws so far, okay, and that's fine. So now our next step is to keep the engine block kind of within our grasp, and we have all these parts left over for the air filter. How interesting is that? Alright, and then I have this little black piece, which I'm not exactly entirely sure where this little black piece is going to go. Now, the only thing I could think of is that maybe it's kind of like the cap to cover the screw that goes here. And I am correct. It is the very last stage is to put this tiny piece there. So that's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all this together, and when I come back, it should look just like we see here. Alright, and there it is, all done, all set. Alright, and just so we can make it look just like it does in the video, I mean in the final build for stage 9, here's how it's going to look. Alright, really nice, really impressed with how that looks. Got a little sun there, so that looks real nice. I think that looks really nice and everything, so that's pretty cool with all the cords and everything. Like I said, I really feel bad for the lighting, but there's not much I can do here except for trying to move it just a smidge, but it's not doing its justice here. But that's okay. We'll get better as we go along. Other than that, I'm going to get ready for stage 10, which is our final stage for this video. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, and here we are with stage 10. Alright, here's all the parts. I put the engine here off to the side. The only reason why I did that was because it says here that we're going to need the engine back again, so that way we can put some parts on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do step 1, which is right over here. I'm going to take these two pieces, put them together, and then we're going to have them attached to the engine block. Now, of course, once I attach to the engine block, we're going to show you guys how that looks, and then we're going to go to steps 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we're going to show you what the end result is, which is right here in this little box. So if you can see it there, you can see how that is. Alrighty. Do not get confused. Okay, that's step 5. Okay, and then the end is here. So without further ado, let me get a cracking on building some of this stuff, and I'll come right back. Alright, here you go, folks. So check this out. I put all this together. Alright, I put all these pieces together. I kind of jumped ahead. I went and finished all of this stage here, or this step here, step 2. I put all the tiny pieces in, the little DP screw to put this in. Basically, we're just doing the alternator pulley system, and then we affixed the supports, which is just this piece here, and then with the other piece that I built, that has to get bolted on to the engine here. So since that was kind of a pain in the neck, I kind of stopped and just went to step 2. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take step 1 and 2, put them all together, and I'm going to mount this back on. So once I'm done with that, I'll come back to you. Alright, so I've put the last screw in right here, okay, and I just kind of wanted to just let you guys see how much easier it will be by doing it this way. The other way was kind of making it a bit of a little bit of a pain. Okay, so we're gonna have to take another EP screw, okay, and no, I stand corrected, it is an FM screw. So let's see, where did I put my FM screw? There's one FM screw. Alright, and that is gonna basically attach this to right there. Alright, I don't even know if you guys can see all that, but there's a piece like right there, so the FM is going to attach there and to there. So I'm going to put that right up in there. Looks like it goes on the outside, okay. Alright, so I'm going to line that right up. Now I'm only going to screw it in just a little ways, because I don't want to ruin it just yet. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of do a couple screws in there just to show that it's in there. Okay, because we have this other mount piece, which is then going to go apparently into here, which is kind of weird because I didn't think it would. Alright, but apparently it does, and that requires an EP screw. So I'm going to grab one EP screw just to put the screw right into there. Alright, so due to the angle of the camera, hopefully you can see it, but it is this piece right there. Okay. Alright, come on. Grab that. Yeah, there you go, Tony. Get up. Oh, there it is. Alright, boom. Alright. So I'm going to now attach that piece. And you can see why I kind of learned from other models prior to this that I used to do that you want to kind of loosen some of this stuff in order to let everything kind of just sink into place. Now once I get this one in there, then I will go ahead and I'll come back and I will tighten up the other screw. That looks pretty snug in there, right? Yeah, looks like it's meant to be that way. And now I'll come back and tighten this one. Look at that. Man, that was nice. Perfect. Okay, so now the next part is going to be for this region here, okay? That is the next phase that we have, and that's step 4. So I will put that piece on. It's real simple. It's just this. It's 3 GP screws. I'll put that on. Once I put that on, I'll come back and we will install the oil filter here on step 5. That way we can see step 10 or step 6 here, which is basically everything done. I'm saying step 6 because it just seems better. But stage 10 will then be completed, and that will complete today's video for building purposes. Alright, so I'll be right back. Alright, welcome back to the bench. Here we are. We're going to show you how we did the last stage. Okay, now the last stage apparently is going to be attaching here and here. If you noticed in the previous step, we only had to put 3 of the screws here, which were the those GP screws. So, judging by the picture here, we have it's showing that it goes like this. So, and then when you put it on to the piece, all right, it's supposedly gonna go like this. So, it's showing it like this, or it's showing it the other way, but that's just to put the screw in that goes here. But when we mount it, it will be the curved side facing down on the edge of the engine, and then the L shape will then attach to this little piece here. That's this little screw hole here. So if you can't see it at home, I'm apologizing, but it's gonna go right there. Okay, that little spot. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to line it right up. All right, I need a little bit of light, but not too much. So I'm gonna kind of plop it in its home for a second. Okay, and then we're gonna put it together. Boy, I need to get another light. Alright, I'm not a lefty, but we're gonna put it together anyway with my left. See what happens. Oh, too much oomph there. Alright, there we go. Alright, so I'm going to bring this on down, and I'm not going to be too tight because I know that this still needs to line up with the other hole over here, which it seems like it does. So now that it does, I will tighten it down all the way. Like so. Alright. And that gives me enough leeway to still attach another screw over there for the next phase. But as you can see, it is all done. And that is it for stages 7, 8, 9, and 10. This engine has come out real nice, real nice. I mean, look at all that. That's a lot of work that we've done by putting this together. So this engine is almost complete, okay? Almost complete. So that's not too bad, not too bad. So of course, everybody's gonna want to know, you know, what is next and whatnot. So we'll come back. I'm gonna clear up the bench and show you as a cliffhanger what will be in the next issue. All right, here we go. So here is what's coming out in issue 5 of Build the Ghostbusters Ecto-1. We are going to have 4 stages. It seems to be a reoccurring thing. We're going to keep doing 4 stages per issue. So if you like the fact that we're doing 4, that's great. If you guys would like to see, you know, me do every single stage, that's basically like 120 videos. We can do that. If not, then we'll just keep doing it by issue, and we'll keep it this way. And each time it'll be different on how we're going to go about it, depending on how much intensive labor is involved in each of these phases, which seems to be some of it's extensive and some of it isn't. But that's everything for the next part. And as everybody knows, here is all the things that we did do in this video. Little after action review for you. All right, so we have 4 stages, we completed them all, and we now have a finished engine. So if you of course like what you've seen in this video and you want to keep seeing more or keep getting alerted when I post the next video, feel free to like, share, subscribe, and hit the little bell down there. Unless it's already hit it for you, then you'll get all the updates that you need to know. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed today's episode here in our build down here in the Thompson Model Shop, and I enjoyed showing you guys how I'm building this model, and I would like to keep doing that, but if by popular demand that it's not needed, then well, the series will end. But I would just like to keep telling you guys how to build these little things, because I think this is a pretty interesting model. It'll be one hell of an adventure. All right, and I'm sure everybody would like to enjoy watching this. All right, and once again, if you would like to get this yourself, feel free to go to fanhome.com and order this all the way back to issue 1, where you'll get all the cool stuff to get started. Alrighty, without further ado, thank you for watching and keep on modeling.